Here we go, episode 119 of the Hardline Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. That is John Michael Masiri. Lots to get to today. We're going to start with Major League Baseball as Shohei Ohtani signs the biggest deal in sports history, basically. Lots of football to get to as well. We have a lot of fraud teams in the NFL, and we're going to talk about all of them in a little bit. Make sure you are liking and subscribing on YouTube, liking and commenting anywhere you get your podcasts, and, of course, following our social medias on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're on social media. I'm sure we're there. JM, anything news-wise about the giveaway?
Winner is going to be announced on Friday, so pay attention to our Instagram. It'll be up there. By the way, here we go. Off cadence today. It was like a here we go instead of like a here we go.
Well, if you've been noticing, I've been doing the here we go, like quick. Also, Dak Prescott. I actually have. You want to go back and listen?
Do the Dak.
Dak Prescott stealing by here we go, by the way.
His is a little bit more baritone.
All ready? Hold on. This is it. Okay, here we go.
That's pretty good.
Oh, God, that hurts.
That was good. I mean, you're dying now, so that's
hurts
cool.
the back of the throat a little bit.
Mike, how's it going, dude? How you been? I feel like we haven't talked much.
I know. I'm great.
You good? Busy week last week for you last week, right?
Busy week. Had a lot to do. Busy week this week as well. We've had finals starting.
Yeah.
And
how was the Heisman show?
The Heisman Trophy ceremony and press conferences were great. Got to speak to Bo Nix. Got to speak to Marvin Harrison Jr., told them, listen, it's really nice here in New York and Jersey and being in blue.
Yeah.
Being able to play with Tommy DeVito is a good thing.
Bo Nix, maybe not, maybe more realistic than Marvin Harrison, considering I think Harrison's going to be off the board by the time you guys pick right now, the way Tommy DeVito's slinging the rock.
Yeah, I don't want Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I'm completely out on Bo Nix. Not a good interaction with him at the Heisman, but
wow.
Yeah, we could save that for another day. It was not good. Listen, crazy. I ask him a question. He doesn't give me a good response. And then Desmond Howard on the ceremony show when they're announcing it, he asks the same exact question, and he gets a great answer with laughs and smiles.
Yeah, of course.
I got a dirty look and 10 seconds of silence.
That's some BS right there.
And then a one-word answer. So
you know what? Yeah. You know what, Bo? Don't
screw you.
Okay. Well,
I don't want you.
That's a bit.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
We're definitely a lot of respect.
Okay.
Anyways. Yes, we're going to start
before you start making enemies.
Yeah, I really shouldn't, because he technically could be my quarterback one day. I mean, who the hell knows? Anyway, we are going to start with baseball, though. Last week we had the Soto news basically break live while we were recording, so we didn't really get to talk about that too much, other than just the shock of it actually being finalized while we were on air. So we'll talk a little bit of Soto. Obviously, Yoshinobu Yamamoto has one of the more intense. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Michael, you need to learn what a rhetorical question is.
I know what it was. I'm just trying to prove you
wrong.
Right, okay. And I did it. I proved you wrong. We said it 5 times in a row.
Fire.
But either way, we're going to talk Yamamoto. We're going to talk a little bit Soto. The Giants can't pay anybody enough money to come play for them. The San Francisco Giants, of course. And we're going to start with Ohtani, though. $700 million to the Los Angeles Dodgers. $680 million deferred. And a new clause in his contract that he can opt out if the president of the team and the president of baseball operations lose their titles.
This is the weirdest contract
An unprecedented contract. He's a Dodger, though. That's all we need to know.
This is bizarre. I'm not sure how that is going to work with the opt-out. So let's say, Andrew Friedman gets fired after 4 years he opts out. Is he opting out of the remaining $692 million that will still be there? Or? Well, that sounds moronic. This whole thing, listen.
He has to.
I understand why people are pissed off, and I'm a little pissed off because I don't think it's good for the game of baseball. I think that a lot of teams are going to try to do this now, and it's just going to get a little out of hand. That being said, I just want to clear the air because I think a lot of people are still a little confused over the terms of the deal and what it means for the luxury tax and everything like that. it still counts as $46 million towards the luxury tax for the Dodgers. So it is still maybe the biggest deal against the luxury tax in baseball.
It is 46. It's for whatever it is. If it's over $44 million, it's over that.
Yeah. So
43
let's not.
Scherzer.
Right. Let's not act like this is the Dodgers now can just go out and sign whoever they want in terms of luxury tax. Now, the reason why it's still great for the Dodgers is from just a business standpoint and from a payroll standpoint. You're only paying the guy $2 million a year, so you can go and get somebody and afford it as a team and still be very profitable through these next 10 years. However, the penalties, the luxury tax threshold, all that stuff is going to be blown through still. They are still going to have no problem shooting through every threshold there is if they choose to sign a Yamamoto or sign another big free agent.
Trade for Glass now, which apparently is in the works and could be done by, the time this episode airs.
Yeah. I was surprised to see his name and not Orozarena's.
Well, did you see what Arozarena posted late last night?
Yeah.
That was a little scary.
Yeah, a little weird. I mean, he's posted up next to Shohei Ohtani, and he's got what did he put, the Mexican flag and the Japanese flag next to each other?
The WBC.
So I don't know if that was just like, hey, here's me and my friend Shohei Ohtani at the World Baseball Classic, or like, hey,
I'm being traded there.
Let me go to the Dodgers.
It's definitely weird, though, the way they've structured this. It's obviously the most unique contract in baseball history. Yeah. But now talking about it from a baseball standpoint, the Dodgers still have work to do. And like we just mentioned, they're trying to sign Yamamoto. They're trying to trade for Tyler Glass now. There's still a lot of work to be done for this roster because they definitely do not have the pitching here to get this done. I mean, who is slotted in at the moment as their ace?
Bobby Miller, maybe?
Bobby Miller.
I mean, they got Walker Buehler coming back from injury maybe this year.
Yes.
Right? He's got coming off the Tommy John. Julio Urias right now is like the investigations like almost at the end right now, and the MLB is going to decide their suspension. And
he's not never
put
pitching
that brother
again.
Behind bars. You might see Julio Urias behind bars.
He's not. I don't know what the hell was just on that Instagram just now. That was disgusting. But that freaked me out. I just opened the phone quick to close my apps out.
What you got on there?
It was I can't even say it. I don't know what it was. It was disgusting though. Inappropriate, not PG-13.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it was PG-13.
Keep pretending. I know what freaky stuff you got on there behind the scenes.
What the hell are we talking about?
Julio Urias being behind bars.
Yeah, he's not going to pitch ever again in the major leagues. So that's out of the question.
Speaking of not pitching ever again in the major leagues, Trevor Bauer coming back maybe?
I think he'll eventually come back.
Yankee, possibly? No, that is never. Do you know, Trevor, I'm sorry we're bouncing around, but Trevor Bauer and Garrett Cole
hate each other.
Despise each other. They
hate each other.
Played college baseball together, and they couldn't stand each other. And Garrett Cole, it very much still stands. They would, kill each other.
Yeah, no, he's not going to be.
No.
He won't be a Yankee.
He's just overall not a very well-liked player in the big, and that was before he even had all this legal stuff go down.
Yes. I think he will pitch, though. I think at some point he will pitch. But
New York Met.
He was almost a New York Met.
Yeah.
Thank God he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think it would have mattered.
You guys got Scherzer. That was good.
It was good for a year.
Yeah.
Having Scherzer was good for a year.
A couple months.
And he missed a couple of months. Yeah. If Luis Angel Acuna turned into a good player, then it was worth it.
True.
But who the hell knows?
Buying prospects.
But either way, the Dodgers, they got a lot of questions still. And he's not pitching this year. He's not pitching.
Well, that's the thing is they do have a lot of questions. The pitching is a concern like we're talking about right now. The lineup looks great, but hey, I mean, this is baseball. That's baseball, Susan. You got a lot of guys that you could put on a roster and make it all look nice and shiny on paper and talk about the lineup, but one flaw in your team and one player or two big players don't perform for you in the playoffs, you got to rely on some back-end guys. The Dodgers need depth, and they definitely need depth in that rotation.
It's funny. I'm on Twitter, just on my computer, and on my For You, Trevor Bauer is the second thing that just popped up.
Look at that. They're listening. Oh, that's totally a thing.
It is.
Whole, they're listening. Do you know that at my job, the word maple leaf comes up because it's related to my company? And I got a alert about 5 to 10 minutes later. from the Hardline Sports Talks Instagram account saying Maple Leafs just shared a post.
That's so weird. You want to hear something
I don't care about hockey. Really. No offense.
You want to hear something even crazier? I'm on Facebook 2 hours ago, and like every few posts.
What was? Did you go back to what you saw before though?
No, I close that out. Every few posts is an ad.
Right.
So like, here's a DiGiorno ad. Right. We were talking about pizza before. Here's a DiGiorno ad. But there was this ad. It was a clothing company, but it said my last name on the shirts.
What?
So it said Merlo.
Oh, that's like the stupid scam stuff where they'll customize stuff for
so
you.
it's like customized stuff, but it has my name on it.
What do I got here?
It was so freaky. I hope it
They're
comes
messing
up.
with you.
I hope it pops up. I hope a Masiri thing pops up.
New Era cap. Michael Merlo also likes this.
Yeah, I do. I'm obsessed with New Era caps. But it was the craziest thing. Also, can we just listen? This is going all over the place. Facebook Marketplace. Okay.
This
might get a little inappropriate here. So these girls, okay, are posting their dresses on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a price next to it. Mm-hmm. And they're these complete thirst trap photos.
Right.
Like just inappropriate looking photos for girls to be posting.
Right. That he's looking at intently.
Right. So
keep your hands on the desk, okay? Keep your hands where I can see them.
I find it hysterical because I screenshotted a couple of them.
That's
my shirt.
Nice screenshot.
Like, look at this. Like, how is this allowed? What is this like?
Yeah. That's tough.
Facebook Marketplace becoming Tinder?
That's crazy.
That's what Facebook Marketplace is becoming. So that's really the end story here is that you can now flirt with girls. You could pick up girls or women, men, whatever you want to do. If men are selling items on Facebook Marketplace too, it's now a place to pick up a significant other. So there you go.
Let's go.
Little tip there.
There you go. Facebook Marketplace, the new way to go.
Yeah, apparently. Where the hell were we?
Yeah, I don't know,
The Dodgers. The Dodgers are boring. We're just going back and forth on random stuff.
The Dodgers, I hate to be like the guy because I get these comments with the Yankees too, but like the Dodgers could put whoever they want on their team. They do have a reputation of falling short in the playoffs and losing to teams that they shouldn't lose to, so we'll see how it all plays out. I personally just want to, from the Ohtani standpoint, I think it's a ridiculous overpay.
Yeah.
I would not give the guy more than $500 million. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He's probably the greatest baseball player I've ever seen. In his, a prime Shohei Ohtani, he's in his prime. A fully healthy prime Shohei Ohtani is incredible. What other player can you say can throw 100 miles an hour and lead the league in homers and OPS? It's just crazy. However, he's going to be 30 years old soon. Yeah. He just got Tommy John surgery. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's had some major injuries in the past, correct? Mm-hmm. Is this his first Tommy John?
It's his second.
It's his second Tommy John surgery. So he's had the injuries in the past. Are we really sure that this guy's going to be 35, 36, 37 years old, be playing both ways still, and still doing it at a high level? I mean, what does the decline look like? I can't imagine that both decline the same way. I can't imagine he goes from a 2.8 ERA and a 950 OPS to a 3.2 and an 880 OPS. Like, I imagine it's going to be one's going to fall pretty hard compared to the other.
And I think it's obvious what will fall. I think it's going to be the pitching, and that he will be able to turn into whatever they want to turn him into. They want him to be the closer.
Well, that's
at
the thing.
The end of it, and then he's the DH or the right fielder or the first baseman toward the end of it. Whatever it is, that's sort of, I think, where it'll go.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think that as his starting pitching starts to decline, I think maybe they consider a move to the bullpen while also making him a full-time position player, not just a DH, because he's a very athletic. Shohei Ohtani is one of the fastest guys in the MLB. That's something that is overlooked about his game. He is very fast. I believe he's definitely in the 90th plus percentile in sprint speed in baseball. He's a very fast player. He's a great athlete. So I'm sure he's got a cannon in the outfield. You could use him as an outfielder.
Well, also,
we'll see what they do with him.
We have to think about the evolution of contracts in baseball. Nobody, at least in the next 10 to 20 years, is going to get a contract like this. And it's not comparable to anybody else. Like, Boris cannot go to the Yankees and say, "Look, this is the contract he got. So this is what we want." It's not comparable.
He's going to ask for a lot. He's going to ask for more average annual value than the luxury tax hit that Ohtani's getting. So Ohtani's $46 million AAV right now in terms of luxury tax. Soto's going to ask for 50.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a $500 million player. Yeah. He'll be the first one other than Ohtani.
Yeah.
But you cannot compare this contract to anybody else. But also think about what AAVs can possibly be in 10 to 15 years. Some of them might be at $50 million. Yeah. So it might not look as bad. Look at the way we
look at $30 million and $25 million. $30 million is still like you want to ask for $30 million, but I mean, I remember when Robinson Cano was a free agent and they were talking about him asking for $30 million. That was 10 years ago, and it was like, whoa, $30 million, holy crap. That's now what $40 million is. Yeah. We're like, whoa, $40 million. So yes, by the time 2034 rolls around, $70 million a year, $68 million a year, whichever number you want to use, that's going to be still a very, very big deal. It'll be looked at a little more normal, but I still don't think we're going to see a player at that number besides Shohei Ohtani. And that's what I would use as a negotiation tactic if I'm the Yankees, to extend Soto right now or next offseason if I'm any team negotiating with Juan Soto as a free agent, is if Juan Soto tries saying, I'm trying to get more average annual value than Shohei Ohtani, or just use Shohei Ohtani's contract as a negotiation tactic in any way, I'm saying, well, Shohei Ohtani used himself as a unique player to be a negotiation tactic of saying, I know this contract may seem crazy, but let me ask you one question. Am I like any other player in baseball? No, I can pitch elite and I can hit in an elite manner. So I'm not going to be like, Juan Soto, you're allowed to ask for Shohei Ohtani, to mention Shohei Ohtani's name in contracts because you don't pitch. You can't use Ohtani as a negotiation contract considering he was an outlier.
No, definitely not. It's not comparable. Ohtani's not comparable to anybody unless somebody starts to pitch and hit again. Yeah. All right, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he's also, I think he's going to exceed $30 million a year. I think it's crazy to even think it's closer to $200 million than it is $300 million at this point. There's so many teams after him. There's so many big market teams after Yamamoto, and there's teams that are desperate for him. The Dodgers, the way they're able to set up this contract now with Ohtani, they may even be able to go and get Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They had a meeting with him Tuesday, and Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei Ohtani were all present at this meeting, and he has a lot of reasons to go there. One will be 300 million reasons most likely, and the other is a chance to go play with Ohtani, and the other is a chance to seriously go solidify a rotation that has some question marks and also be able to win a championship in a huge market for a storied franchise, which apparently I think money's going to actually play a big factor, but also storied franchise and the sort of franchise he goes to, I think, may play a factor as well. That's why he's so interested in the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cubs and the Dodgers. Now, the other teams are going to have to step up probably in cash if they want him, but the Dodgers are a team that have a lot going for them if they want to sign Yamamoto.
Yeah, and one thing I keep reading on him is he loves the spotlight. So LA does have the spotlight, no question about it. They've won a World Series within the past 5 years. They've been a 100-win team multiple times. They've won their division. We know that LA is at the top. I mean, they're right there with the Yankees and with any other team in the MLB in terms of recognition. But if I were the Yankees and I'm looking at it from a spotlight perspective, I'm telling Yamamoto, you want the spotlight, here's where you got to go. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is already a Dodger. So from a national recognition from Japan's standpoint, your country's number one icon is already on the Dodgers. So you're going to be overshadowed by that. You're also going to be in the same rotation as him in a year or two when Ohtani comes back. Ohtani's still going to be looked at as the ace of that rotation, considering he's their $70 million shiny toy. So you have those two things into account. Looking over back at the Yankees side, Yankees are the most iconic franchise in sports.
He's also not the ace over there.
He wouldn't be the ace over there, but there's no Ohtani. You don't have to worry about another Japanese player being there and not having the recognition with the Yankees in Japan like he would have no recognition with not no recognition, but less recognition with the Dodgers.
He's not the number one Japanese player. Yeah,
exactly.
I get what you're saying.
Exactly. He would be overshadowed by Ohtani, especially in his home country. So I think the Yankees are definitely the biggest threat to the Dodgers I don't think it's a biased standpoint. I think it's just an objective fact. I think that's the way it is right now. The Red Sox, I get why they're in contention for it. They have the money to do it. If I'm him, though, I mean, Yankees, Dodgers, situations they're in, I'd rather go to play for one of those teams. I don't know. Am I wrong?
I think it's gonna come down to money.
You think it's just? I don't think it's just all money, though.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get to a point where somebody outbids everybody, and then everybody else has to come in, and it becomes a bidding war. Where if it wasn't such a bidding war, where there weren't so many big market teams coming after him, and it was, okay, well, this place is better, so maybe they're offering $20 or $5 million less or $10 million less. Maybe I'll go to the Dodgers, or maybe I'll go to the Yankees. Yeah. I think money's going to play a big factor here. I think spotlight is going to as well, but there's going to be no spotlight in San Francisco. There's no spotlight from the Red Sox or the Cubs, for that matter. I think everybody's got a shot. I don't think anybody knows anything, to be honest with you, at this point. I don't think anybody has any read on where this guy's going. My favorite at the moment would be the Dodgers. I think they're going to sign him. But who the hell knows? Nobody really knows. And I read an article from Andy Martino, who is well connected with a lot around Major League Baseball, especially in this town. And he was he was not playing the Mets into it at all.
Right.
He wasn't talking about the Mets as major players. He actually went on Baseball Night in America a couple days ago and said, Yamamoto doesn't even know what the Mets are until Cohen and Stearns went over there to visit him in Japan. And today he wrote an article saying, wow, I actually talked to some different sources, and they say they're top 2 or 3 in the running.
Right.
Nobody knows what the hell is going on. So all these rumors are just rumors, and they're just made for clicks at this point.
It's classic MLB offseason.
Right.
You also, you have the mystery teams, and you have the teams that are just used to drive up the price, and it's very tiring. It really is.
Listen, I think there's a ton of teams. I think it's the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Giants, the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs.
Yeah.
I think they're all interested, and I think all 7 major market teams here are going to make a play.
That'd be a curveball if he goes to the Phillies.
Some will drop out.
That'd be crazy.
Some will drop out because of price. Some will drop out because he doesn't want to go there, and ultimately everybody will finish in last.
And Blake Snell's just sitting in his living room right now like, all right, who's going to come for me after this? He's just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Exactly. Blake Snell waits on this. I don't want Blake Snell.
Yeah.
I saw a good contract comparison, though, for Blake Snell. It was your boy's contract. No. Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And I actually would not hate that contract for Snell, even if it was to my team, even though I don't really want him.
Okay. Well, that was a pretty significant contract. I'm kind of surprised you're saying that right now.
6 years, 162. What's that a year? 20-something?
27?
Yeah. It's nothing. Yeah. That's ass change.
28, actually.
All right. Soto. You have had a week now to kind of decompress. I want to say this because I think I said this the other day when we recorded. I think the Yankees actually are pretty close to being done. I mean, they're going to get a pitcher. Obviously, they want Yamamoto. And if they don't get Yamamoto, they're going to probably go get another pitcher or 2. But I think the Yankees are pretty close to it. I think it's set. I think at this point, their roster's set. I still don't know whether or not if they are the favorites in the American League or they're the favorite to win the division. I think they have a really good team. I think if things pan out the way they're supposed to, if guys bounce back, if guys continue to have good, like Glaber last year, I think the addition of Juan Soto is going to help this lineup and kind of boast this lineup to being the first or second best lineup in the American League. So I'm kind of changed my viewpoint, and that not that I didn't think it was a good move last week, but I think this kind of puts them over the edge now in the American League and kind of I think makes them the favorites if the other moves are made. And it doesn't have to be Yamamoto. Right. It could be another move to get another starting pitcher. Name a guy that's available and then name another depth piece. I don't know who it is.
Right.
But I think the Yankees are in a good spot here. And from what they traded, I know King's in, a significant move. But, man, to trade what they traded to get such a high-level star power player, I think it's very impressive what they were able to do, even if it's just for 1 year.
Well, they definitely need some depth pieces like you were talking about. And I agree. I think the lineup, you don't really need to touch on it anymore. Maybe it's funny to say it, but I do think that they should probably bring IKF back. I think it'd be a good move for them to have that utility guy on the bench. You know what you're getting out of IKF, right? You're getting a guy who can play
Elite.
multiple positions. He has good defense in some positions, just not shortstop.
One of the best players in baseball
please
history.
Not shortstop. Yeah, maybe he's gonna be in Monument Park real soon. Don't worry. You need bullpen. You lost Mike King. You lost some arms in that trade, and the bullpen is a little banged up. You got some injuries. Scott Efrost isn't going to be back for the start of the year, so you got to make some moves there for the bullpen, and you got to make some moves to shore up the end of that rotation, because right now it's listed as Clayton Beater, our prospect, to be our 5-starter, which is just not realistic. So the one thing that I didn't realize, like, over this week of processing with the lineup, when the move was first made for Soto, I was like, this team still needs, like, lineup. They might need another bat. Maybe look at third base. Maybe look at wherever else you can improve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, like, very confident in the lineup now. And I think that we talked about last week the down years that the Yankees had on offense, and they were 25th in baseball as an offense. They were just terrible. There are guys that had crazy down years last year that are there's no way that it could happen again. You had injuries. A big one that I love to talk about, Anthony Rizzo went from an all-star level first baseman to borderline AAA player after getting concussed against the Padres.
Okay, well, he's a different story.
And
he
then,
was hurt.
But
He was legitimately
he was playing,
hurt.
but he was playing
I know,
while
but he was
hurt.
Yes, but the franchise, we all know, made a really bad decision.
But that's part of my point
play.
of why did the Yankees lose so many games last year? They had a concussed first baseman playing for 2 months. You have a DJ LeMahieu, who I don't really expect much improvement from DJ.
Right,
I think he had his up and downs last year. The one guy I'm kind of working around right now, Stanton. I don't expect a 190 batting average this year.
Yes.
I think Stanton still got it in the tank. Now we say this every year, and we say if he stays healthy, I'm going to account for at least 30, 40 games that Giancarlo Stanton doesn't play. I'll expect a couple IL stints. Please just keep it at that. Don't give me a 50-game season.
What they have to do is play him, and they have to play their cards right with Stanton. They have to play him in certain spots.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe he doesn't go on the IL this year because the Yankees were smart with him. Maybe he's not playing every day. Maybe he's not playing the field as much, which is not going to happen with how loaded the outfield is at this point. Maybe he plays 110, 120 games by choice, not by, he's on the IL again. Right. I think Stanton is getting overlooked and disrespected here. I think he's going to play a major part in this Yankee team and a Yankee run this year. I really do.
Apparently, he's coming in lighter this year. And, I hear this stuff all the time in football and baseball, in any sport, with players' weights, and they always seem to use it. I remember they used it with Teixeira years ago. They always seem to use it to hype it up, and it ends up making no difference. But, if you want to look at something, he's coming in lighter. He's hopefully coming in a little more limber and a little more durable this year. So you just hope he stays on the field. But, let's also talk about Verdugo. That was a nice get. This is what I forgot what I wanted to say. The lefty-righty thing is what really has assured me in my mind that I'm very confident about now. The Yankees have had that problem since 2018, something like that. They couldn't get any left-handed hitters in that lineup. Well,
it's about time. The Yankees went out there and got some left-handed hitting for that stadium. The park factor. Yeah, I know it's not all. Yeah, well, the short porch.
You guys got to keep bringing in the fences. Yeah.
We need to
bring back the. You know what you should do? The Mets went downhill ever since they got rid of the Modell zone.
The what?
The Mo zone.
What's that?
The Mo's zone.
No clue.
You're a casual. City Field.
I have no clue.
City Field, the thing in right field by the bullpen. They used to say Modell's.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. I'm not a
old?
real fan of my team.
Is that old City Field? Old?
No.
Old
oh, yeah. Mo's.
City Field?
Zone.
You might
City Field.
You might be just losing it.
Clubhouse. Modell's Mo Zone.
Yeah,
right there. The Mo Zone. It literally says that.
Yeah, that's the speakeasy now.
There's a speakeasy at City Field?
Yeah, look it up. That's where the speakeasy is. I wanted to sit there. It's called the Cadillac Club. It's really beautiful. They did a great job with it. It was cheap toward the end of the year. I just didn't want to go see the
actually is a speakeasy.
Yeah, it's really cool. We should go sit there one day. It's beautiful. And we can't act like normal people. Yeah. There's TVs in front of you too. You're on the field.
It's a members only thing.
No,
Yeah, you got right.
You say they sell the ticket, you go. It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We could get in there, no problem. Either way, done with baseball. I want to talk about it. The San Francisco Giants are just desperate, but we'll save that for another day. Jung-Hoo Lee signed there, and it was a massive overpay. So that's really what happened there. Okay, football. The Chiefs. They're hysterically crying. Let me just say this before JM goes on his major hater mode of Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Patrick Mahomes guy. I'm a huge Andy Reid guy. I love the Chiefs. I really do. And I still think they're probably getting to the Super Bowl. But this was a terrible, terrible look, and rightfully so. Mahomes was apologizing earlier in the week. It was a terrible look. The meltdown, everything was bad. Because, yeah, sure, it was a sick play to tie the game, or take the lead, excuse me. But at the end of the day, Tony was offsides. Tony's an F-up. Tony's a screw-up. Tony's terrible. Okay? 3 things right there. But it really did not make any sense as to why they were freaking out as much. Because, A, it's been called. It's not like it hasn't been called this year. You want to talk about 2 years ago, they called that fine. 3 years ago, they called that fine because they were not calling that penalty. Mm-hmm. It's been called over
20 times, 21 times or something like that.
Exactly. It's been called a lot this year. It's been called the tush push a lot for the Eagles, but it's been called a lot this year. It was called last season in a critical spot as well on the commies in the Giant game on Sunday Night Football. So this is something that's becoming a new thing now. So the freak out over it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, it was the crazy thing about it is it was the right call.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much you want to complain about it being in a significant moment, the call was correct. It's not like this was like, oh, the refs are just pulling something out of their ass to make a call. Like, no, it was definitely the right call. So, I don't want to go too crazy Chiefs hater and this and that, but it's pretty ironic, the complaining, when the Chiefs have been on the right side of a lot of calls over the past couple of years in some pretty big moments. So to come out and make this such a big fuss, and honestly, it was surprising to me that a guy like Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's the face of the league, a guy who has multiple Super Bowls and multiple MVPs, would not only say this during his press conference, but after the game on the field. Oh my, you see him mic'd up going up to Josh Allen. Worst call I've ever seen. Worst call I've ever seen. And then he's talking to, he's just looking around, shaking his head, and still going on and on about it. I mean,
and what's Allen supposed to say in that spot?
Yeah.
Allen just won a huge
game.
game.
You're right, Pat. You should have won. Like, what is he supposed to say?
Josh Allen leads his team to a victory against a good defense and a tough place to play, and he's now gotta deal with this idiot who's on the field, and they're friendly. I'm sure they're friendly. They're both outgoing guys. Yeah. They talk highly about each other, and he's gotta congratulate him at the end of the go talk to him at least. Say good luck, whatever, and he's still bitching and moaning. So not a good look for the league, not a good look from Mahomes, and even Andy Reid after the game, man. I mean, that was shocking too, for a legendary head coach to be sitting up at the podium talking about a call that's not called that often. It really just was not a good look for the league. So
it's really let's can we dive into I'm super excited for the Chiefs frauds talk now. Are you there yet? I said it last week. Chiefs are frauds.
Absolutely not.
They lose again. Chiefs are frauds.
No, I'm not there.
Nope.
They lost to a desperate team.
Okay. They did get bailed by the Titans though, with their chances of being the 1 seed still. They need the Ravens to lose to San Fran and drop another game. Ravens don't have the easiest schedule remaining yet. So the 1 seed is still in the cards here. They can't drop another game. There's no way they're going to be an 11-6 1 seed, the Chiefs. But I don't know what the tiebreaker. I don't believe they play the Ravens head-to-head this year. No, they haven't, and they won't in the future. So I think it's going to come down to conference record and all that stuff. But Ravens got a 2-game lead right now on the Chiefs. They got a 1-game lead on the Dolphins and whoever else. So number 1 seed might be out of the question for the Chiefs. You might have to see Patrick Mahomes in a road playoff game this year.
I can't wait for him to play a road playoff game.
The division's not locked up. Michael's Denver Broncos are right in the rearview mirror right now.
The Jordan shoulder
Yeah.
shot.
I mean,
try telling you in March.
Yeah.
Try telling you in March.
And honestly, Denver's probably shaking their heads at that Thursday night game that they lost in Kansas City because they could have gotten a season sweep against Kansas City. They just played. I mean, what the hell was that?
They dominated them in Denver.
Yeah. Yep.
Mahomes flu game.
Yep.
Just Broncos being good game.
I mean, really, what do you think it is? Like, if you had to put your finger on one thing for this Chiefs team this year, what are you putting your finger on? You can only take. What do you think is the number one X factor for why they haven't looked like the dominant Kansas City Chiefs?
Well, I think it's definitely their weapons, but I think it's also just maybe they're tired. They've played so much football. You know what I mean? They're playing late into seasons every year. We really have not seen this team struggle for long periods of time, and since the run has really started. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're kind of just, I don't even want to say plateauing, just they're going down for a very long time for the first time now.
Right.
But I still think they're going to figure this thing out. Like, the schedule's weak the rest of the way. They'll get some things going. I think last week was a real wake-up call, and they'll put it together. I want to see him go on the road. I do. You're saying it as like a bad thing. I would like to see him on the road trying to go.
Well, no, it's not even a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, they haven't done it yet, and I do want to see it happen. I want to see them play a road playoff game and see what it's like.
His numbers aren't.
I don't think Pat Mahomes is just gonna out of nowhere be like, oh my God, I forgot how to play football. I'm playing on the road right now. But I think it'll be a challenge.
I mean, his numbers aren't like bad. Like they're
not bad
numbers
for Patrick Mahomes. But this is the thing that like really like irks me. I'm gonna save it. Let me just get back to the point that I was making with why the Chiefs aren't the way they are. I think Bieniemy needs to be talked about more. I think no Bieniemy needs to be discussed. Matt Nagy comes over. The offense has lost a step. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. They've scored 30 or more 3 times this year. That is like unprecedented for the Chiefs. They've scored under 20 points 3 of their last 4 games, 4 of their last 6. So they're not scoring the ball very well. And I think that Eric Bieniemy has something to do with that. You see, listen, the Commanders aren't having the greatest year ever. I think anybody you ask would say, wow, yeah, Eric Bieniemy's getting a little more out of Sam Howell than I thought that he would. Honestly, the Commanders' problem, a big part of it has been the defense. Their defense has been awful, and it was supposed to be a good defense.
Yeah, Howell, I think has definitely impressed some people, and he may have played well enough this year to kind of get him to be to be the future starter for them.
Yeah,
you're right. I think Howell absolutely should. Excuse me.
Bieniemy.
I think Bieniemy needs to be talked about. Yeah. Nagy might not be the greatest offensive coordinator, but I still think it's Andy Reid. It's still Andy Reid's team. It's Andy Reid's offense. When Andy Reid says it's going to go. So, yeah, Bieniemy has to be talked about, but the lack of weapons here, and I know the weapons weren't great last year, but that's got to be talked about as well. Yeah. And is Kelsey lost a step? Like, is this a thing? Like, go back to the last 4 out of 6 games that they've played where they haven't scored more than 20 points.
Yeah.
Does this all?
Travis Kelce's got 1 touchdown in his last 4 games.
Right. It's crazy the way Kelsey has kind of dropped off here because early on, I mean, his numbers were insane.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look here. Let me try and scoot over.
Talking about the Chargers and the Broncos back-to-back. He had 300 yards combined in 2 games.
Yeah, he had that crazy stretch.
Yeah, and he's got 3 touchdowns through the first 4 games of the year for himself. He's having a pretty nice year. And, maybe it's not on Kelsey. Maybe it's just what I'm talking about. It's a collection of everything. It's the offense. It's Matt Nagy. It's Patrick Mahomes, the offensive line. Who knows what it is?
And, of course, they're going to be singling out Kelsey in coverage, too.
All I know is the Chiefs' identity this year has been, whoa, this defense is surprising us. Mm-hmm. Wow, we weren't expecting this. And it was kind of covering up the lack, that the deficiencies in the offense. But we said, give that offense time, give those weapons time. They'll gel together. They'll start playing better. And by the time playoffs come around, the Chiefs their offense is going to be in sync and their defense looks amazing. They're going to be back at the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Well, guess what? Neither has happened. The defense has actually fallen off recently, and the offense is still not clicking. So that's why you're seeing them playing 500 football the last 6 weeks.
Their defense has fallen off?
Yeah. As I'm looking at Josh Allen's stats right now. Let's talk about the defense.
No, I'm genuinely asking.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense. They've given up 20, 27, 17, 21 in their last 4 games. You're giving up 27 points to the Packers on the road. They gave up 20 at home to the Bills last week. Their offense can't make up for that. They're not giving up crazy totals here, but they're not playing the way they did in the beginning of the year. 9 points, 10 points, 20, 8. You're not, that football is behind you now. They no longer have that top 3
They
defense.
gave up about 20 points a game against the Eagles, Raiders,
Merlo,
Packers, and Bills.
They've given up 325 yards or more in their last 3 games. They're not playing the best defense anymore.
The defense is not a problem. I mean, it's definitely not a problem. I mean, yeah, you want to say against Green Bay, it wasn't good enough. Sure, they went on the road and played a team that was hot, and they lost a tough game. Against the Bills, you give 20 points. Against the Eagles, you give 21. That defense played really well against Philadelphia.
My point is, it's a top 10 defense. It's not a top 3, top 5 defense like we thought it was in the beginning of the year.
I still think it is. I still think it's
I don't think it is.
A defense that could carry them to the playoffs.
Let's go on to Josh Allen because I wanted to bring him up when we were talking about Mahomes. The way that these two quarterbacks are looked at just makes me laugh because I think the Mahomes praise is just it's still too out of hand. Pat Mahomes, I said it last week. I feel like I'm repeating myself. He's a great quarterback, best quarterback in the league when everything is on. He's phenomenal. He's got amazing talent. Josh Allen is the reason why the Buffalo Bills are still afloat and in this playoff race right now. I mean, a lot has gone south for them. They've had problems with the defense. The injuries have been crazy. There's been questions about the head coach. You have Sean McDermott. I mean, what? We didn't even get to talk about that. I think it came out after we recorded. He's using the 9/11 terrorist attacks to influence his players. I mean, crazy stuff going on in Buffalo. And you have the offense where it has its deficiencies outside of Stephon Diggs and James Cook and whoever else. Josh Allen, you can talk about the picks all you want. I think he's keeping them afloat. And I think that the treatment that he gets versus Patrick Mahomes, where you say, oh, he's having a down year, but for Patrick Mahomes, this is still a great season. And then you look at Josh Allen, everybody's like, oh, the turnovers. I think it's unfair treatment.
Yeah, Allen's great.
And this is coming from a Jets fan. I'm not a Josh Allen lover.
I think he's second or third in MVP at this point. I think Purdy's 1 and Dak's probably 2. But he's 3 for me at this point. He's so great. He's 100% the reason why they have a chance. And honest to God, listen, my predictions about the Bills for the most part this year have been correct, right? Mm-hmm. Just they always get hurt on defense. The offensive line is not that great. The weapons are inconsistent, and they're at where they're at. Yeah. And now, the way he's played, and the stats might not back that up, but the way he's just been a leader of this offense and a leader of this team, and he's willing them to wins here late, to me, if they get in this postseason, I think they're dangerous.
Yeah,
I think they're a serious team that can make a run. That's not a team I'd want to play pissed off Josh Allen.
They're still a contender for the division, by the way.
Yeah,
they're 2 games back now. They won last weekend. Miami lost. They still have to play Miami one more time. I wouldn't count them out yet for the AFC East.
Yeah, they could definitely win the AFC East as well. They got Miami one more time. Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the Buffalo Bills, and I think they could definitely go on a run. Yeah. A team that's not going on the run is the Philadelphia Eagles. Because exposed as frauds as they are, baby.
Look at the switch up.
Philadelphia frauds. Mm-hmm. Good job, Jalen. Can't get your ass pushed into the end zone. Look what happens. Mm-hmm. Oh, 5 men touching my ass into the end zone. Mm-hmm. We can't win. No, but I mean, seriously, they got lots wrong right now. I think the play calling is iffy. Yeah. They don't run the ball enough early on. They go down in the games.
Questions about the head coach for the first time that I've heard.
You seriously have to question the legitimacy of how good this guy is. Because, again, you can say what you want about Gannon. The defense was always fine last year. Defense really had no problems. And Steichen, who is doing a fantastic job in Indianapolis, was calling plays last season and came over from Indianapolis with Sirianni. He was calling plays with his offense.
You know what? I don't think it's a fair take because what do we say with head coaching? We say you have your guys who are your offensive geniuses, your defensive-minded head coaches, you got your culture guys. Whatever happened to the culture guys? Why is it that Nick Sirianni all of a sudden needs to be criticized because the play calling has gone it's gone downhill? I understand that he used to be the play caller in Jalen Hurts' rookie or sophomore year when they went to the playoffs and lost to the Bucs in the first round. I understand that he gave up the play calling duties, and since then the scoring has gone up. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't work out for him to be an offensive play caller for this team. He wasn't hired to be the offensive coordinator. He was hired to be the head coach. So listen, talk all you want about the roster. The roster's phenomenal. You can't, in this sport get carried by a great roster and be a bad head coach. It rarely happens. And if people think it did happen, they probably over-criticize that head coach in that scenario. How many times do we talk about a Brandon Staley and you look at that Chargers team on paper and yeah, it's got its flaws and they don't have the roster that the Eagles have, but they on paper should be a playoff team. And we love to just kick Brandon Staley to the curb and say that he's awful and he needs to be fired. And we talk about it with other head coaches. Listen, this Eagles team had a lot of expectations going into last season, coming off of that wild card appearance with Jalen Hurts, and they exceeded those expectations by making it to the Super Bowl and becoming that juggernaut next year. And now they've had this identity for the last 2 years for being this Philly mantra team, and they've got the tush push, and they've got.
I don't think that has anything to do with Sirianni. I think you have a lot of guys that have been in Philadelphia for years and understand what it's like to be a Philadelphia player, a Philadelphia football player.
It's a little ridiculous to start questioning a guy, and I don't want to use the term hot seat because I don't think you're putting him on the hot seat right now. But you're definitely making his seat a little warm, considering that he's 10-3 and just lost to the 49ers and the Cowboys. Yeah, the Eagles, they've had some flaws exposed. I don't take them as the favorite in the NFC right now. I don't know if I take them as the second best team in the NFC right now. I said last week I think the Cowboys are better than them. So, yeah, not huge on the Eagles, but guess what? I want to talk about the double standard again. What did you say in the offseason coming into this year? You said, I don't know how I feel about the Eagles coming in because we know that, going into representing the NFC, it's tough to do that 2 years in a row, and they're definitely due for some sort of decline. You're right. They're declining right now. It's going to be really tough for them to do that again.
But the Chiefs
come off the Super Bowl, and it's like, oh, they're no problem. They're going to be back in.
But part of my reasoning as to why I thought Philadelphia would fall off was because they lost both coordinators, and that's documented. I said it multiple times. Losing Steichen, losing Gannon were going to be big factors for this team and a drop off for them. And we've seen it really all season, but now they're playing the stiffer competition. It's really shown now. It's a brighter light shined on it.
But the Chiefs, like I said before, lost their offensive coordinator as well.
And listen, the Chiefs, I think, are in a different scenario because I don't think there's a clear favorite in the AFC. They also have the best player in the world. The Eagles don't.
Yes, but I think this is, again, the rose-colored lenses, the Pat Mahomes-colored lenses, where it's like, oh, they have Pat Mahomes, they're going to be fine. Like, no, we cannot ignore that there are clear deficiencies on this football team.
Okay, give me the walrus-colored lenses. They have Andy Reid. Those are two reasons as to why.
Yeah, the former Philly coach that was known for coming up short in Philly.
I've also seen,
I'm not disrespecting Andy Reid. He's a Hall of Fame head coach. He's a great head coach.
He's won 2 Super Bowls. It's a Philly thing. It's a Philly thing.
The
losing.
The Sirianni hot seat is a little ridiculous.
I'm not putting him on the hot seat.
The warm seat.
I'm not putting him on a warm seat.
I'm just even mention his name as being a fraud head coach is a little.
Show me what he does. Show me what he does.
He's been a head coach for 2.5 years or 3 years, whatever it's been. He's been a coach for 3 years of the Eagles. What do you mean, show me what he does? Who cares if he's not calling the plays on offense or calling the plays on defense? He's a head coach. It's not in his job description to call the plays. Some coaches do it. Some coaches don't. Mike Vrabel doesn't call coaches for the Titans to call coaches. Call plays for the Titans. Maybe he does this year. I know in the past he hasn't. With Arthur Smith there, he wasn't calling the plays.
No, he's also.
And what do we say? Oh, Mike Vrabel, great head coach. Come on. They're 10-3.
I don't know what Nick Sirianni is as a coach. I'm sorry. I don't. Maybe Big Dom is the culture guy there. Maybe Big Dom sets the culture. Who the hell knows? I don't know what goes on in Philadelphia. I do know that Nick Sirianni...
Big Dom looks like a Merlot family member. He's got the whole thing going.
Could be. We're...
Big Italian guy.
We're Italian.
Handsome.
We got... I wouldn't call that guy handsome.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I was complimenting your bloodline, but you know what?
I appreciate it, but he's a piece of crap.
Never mind.
Anyway. Okay, enough of the Eagles... How about the New York freaking Giants?
Yeah, here we go.
How about those Giants? 3-game win streak, man. Tommy DeVito, speaking of Italians. I said something on this show. I said it in public. I said it to friends, and I was laughed at for it, okay? I said something that was very small. It wasn't a big ask, and it wasn't a large prediction. All I said was, Brian Daboll can show me something. Do you remember when I said this? Yep. That Brian Daboll could show me something if he's able to turn Tommy DeVito and make him look like a competent backup quarterback.
Yep.
That's all. It's all I asked. Not a big ask, but is Daboll a good enough offensive coach to sit here and turn this guy who's an undrafted rookie free agent into a starting quarterback, competent backup starting level quarterback?
True.
And he's done that.
Yep.
And they've won 3 straight games. They beat a good team at home on prime time, which, by the way, you know Daniel Jones in prime time. You know Daniel Jones on Monday Night Football. That guy can't buy a victory on Monday Night Football.
Not great.
And
are we done with the Giants prime time? Is that it now?
Yes, we're good. And Tommy DeVito goes, hey, they gave you one entertaining game. That was a good game. Yeah. It was an entertaining game.
It was.
And he's able to win a game on prime time, and he played, pretty decent in that game.
Yes. It's great, and I don't want to, be an annoying friend and annoying co-analyst and tell you, hey, man, don't have any fun with this, because it's a fun time. It's a fun story.
It's a very fun story.
No matter how you want to slice it, it's a fun story. Now, the whole Tommy Cutlets thing, it's, I've gotten to be a little annoyed by it. I think it's going a little over the top, but I get it. It's cute. It's fun. It's there's no harm behind it. It's all good fun. And as an Italian American, I think the stereotyping with everything's getting a little over the top now. But
if he doesn't care, I don't care.
It's good. But this is all that it is. It's just a fun story for now. Please, the Giants fans out there, I'm not even going to come out here and to defend Daniel Jones, because I don't think Daniel Jones is the quarterback of the future. But he's got a better chance of being the quarterback of the future than Tommy DeVito does. Please don't get it confused to say, oh, we found our guy here, Tommy DeVito, savior of the franchise. All it is, it's been a lost season for the Giants. They found some life again. They found a little light. This is a fun little story. And by the time next year rolls around, we'll forget it even happened. He might be the backup. He might be the backup. I'm not saying he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
He's not a starting quarterback for the Giants next year.
Right. I don't think he's a start. Obviously, I don't think he's a starting quarterback for the Giants. I do think he may have bought himself some time in this league.
Yeah.
And I do think there's a potential that he is the backup quarterback next year, which is a good thing.
Well, the one thing that helps him, too, is he's an athlete. He's not a statue playing quarterback,
Yes, he can move.
He can run.
And that definitely helps, and we saw that on Monday night. But I think what Giant fans like right now is we don't know for sure. If I had to give you an educated guess, of course, I don't think Tommy DeVito is going to be the future quarterback of the Giants. But at this point right now, December 13th, 4 weeks into this thing, I am not 100% on, he's not anything for the future, and he's definitely not a quarterback of the future. So I think the unknown for the Giant fan right now.
I don't think it's the unknown. I think it's just a little desperation. And I get it. I've been there. I probably am there right now. I mean, I got Aaron Rodgers waiting in the medical room right now for me. But I think it's just desperation for, like I said, it was a lost season. You had your $40 million franchise quarterback go down with a torn ACL, and it really just looked like the season from hell. And now you get a little bit of, lipstick on a Tommy DeVito's lipstick on a pig right now, in my opinion. I think he's just a little cover up for what's been such a bad season. It's a fun story. Have fun with it. There is no consideration whatsoever for this guy to be your quarterback of the future. Merlo, he hasn't been playing franchise quarterback style football where they're giving him the keys to this offense. Let's be honest.
I mean, he's 4 starts into it as a rookie.
Yeah,
that wasn't drafted.
I'm not going to shoot him down.
Right.
But,
but again, there's an unknown. There was an unknown when Brock Purdy took over. There was an unknown when, Dak Prescott took over.
Take it easy.
I'm not comparing Tommy DeVito to the level of players that these guys are. Of course I'm not.
Don't do that.
But there is I wasn't even doing it on purpose. I swear to God. But there is there's just a level of unknown. I don't know. There is no certainty.
Very true. You're right.
It's uncertain.
But let's if you were about to walk into a cave and you couldn't see anything, that's unknown. You would probably say, maybe it's not the smartest idea for me to walk into this cave alone right now. It's very dark in there. Just because it's unknown of what Tommy DeVito is going to be, it doesn't mean you should pursue the Tommy DeVito story or whatever you want to call it, the Tommy DeVito era, where most likely all the signs indicate this is just a fluky thing. Let's worry about Drake May next year, Bo Nix, Daniel Jones coming back, building around him again. Whatever this front office wants to do, let's focus on that and maybe keep Tommy DeVito around to be the backup or see if we can get any trade interest in him in the offseason. But you're not focusing anything around Tommy DeVito right now. And honestly, again, I know this is a fun story right now. I'm just being a realist. That's the way I am. I'm a realist with everything. The way I see it, the season ends with Tommy DeVito throwing 4 picks against the Eagles in 2 games.
Well, I said that to somebody. I said if DeVito goes to Philly Christmas Day and beats them,
well, then all hell breaks loose. Yeah,
I'm all in. Yeah, Chips all in.
I'll let you come on here and have a 10-minute segment about Tommy DeVito being the future of the Giants.
If he beats the Eagles in Philadelphia, chips in the middle of the table,
then it's over.
I'm all in, because then there's really going to be
But that's also something. It's also the schedule. The last 3 games, yes, the Packers were a good team. They were rolling. They just beat the Chiefs. But we know the NFL. It's any given Sunday and everything like that. The Commanders and the Patriots, the 2 games before, they weren't offensive juggernaut games. They won 10-7 against New England.
Well,
his best game was Washington.
Washington played well.
Washington, he had a great game.
He really did play well in that game. And they scored a lot of points. We'll
see.
It's
cute, fun story.
Yeah, don't rain on a parade. By the way, I got some interesting takes on what the Giants' future could be. We could talk about that another day, because you asked me what do I think it is, and I'm starting to get a little clearer view on what I think at least next season is going to be. But before we close out here, I mean, you got to talk about this story coming out of New England that apparently Mr. Bill Belichick is on his way out at the end of the year, that Robert Kraft and the decision makers over there in New England have made their decision, and they made it after the Germany game in which they lost 10-6. That's from Tom Curran. I think that's how you say it, Curran, of one of the big time newspapers up there, maybe the Boston Globe. Mm-hmm. You could fact check me though.
Yeah,
you could definitely fact check me now that you have it up.
The Boston Herald,
maybe the Boston Herald, one of those, one of the Bostons. Is that Tom Curran?
Andrew Callahan.
No, not Andrew Callahan. It's not the Herald.
I don't know. Anyways.
But either way, Belichick, I mean, it's kind of obvious that they're probably heading for a divorce, a mutual parting of ways at the end of the year. Just, it's time. But, Jay, I mean, you've been tortured by these guys. I mean, what's up?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Well, I feel no sort of satisfaction from this, honestly. I would feel satisfaction to erase the 20 years of misery that they put me in from my brain, but I think it's time, honestly. Belichick, I think he's got a little bit of an ego problem with the whole Brady thing. I think that bothers him, that a lot of people, say Brady kind of made him, because Brady went from New England to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl there, and Bill hasn't won much of anything without Brady. I don't believe he's even won a playoff game without Tom Brady. He had an appearance, and that's really it. So, I'm sure it's a tough shot for him to go through this right now, but honestly, Bill, you've had an amazing career. You're widely considered the greatest coach in NFL history. I think the more this goes on, I think the more doubts there are about that, actually, of him being the greatest ever. If I'm him, whether it's your last time coaching ever or your last time coaching with the Patriots, I think it's got to be one of those. I don't think him being the Patriots coach next year is really a realistic or a smart option.
NBC Sports Boston, by the way. That's where he
great.
writes.
Yeah, completely off. Nowhere close.
Yeah, but I know it was Boston.
Yeah,
so
great. Good job.
But either way.
But is it the Commanders? Is that it? That's the spot?
I think the Commanders. I think the Chargers. And I think, I don't know if he'd go work for an owner like Tepper, but.
The one thing I don't, not to be Mr. Hot Take right now, but let me throw this out there. A lot of the great coaches, we love to talk about their coaching tree, right?
Sure.
Right? Kyle Shanahan had a great coaching tree. Andy Reid's had a pretty good coaching tree.
Sure.
Bill Belichick's coaching tree is known for being pretty, what's the word here?
Average.
Ass.
Yeah.
Ass. Does that have something to do with Belichick himself? Because like I said, we haven't seen him coaching without Tom Brady.
I think it's a lot of these guys trying to bring the Patriot way elsewhere, and I think when the coaches from his tree finally start to realize that, I think they'll start to really succeed. So I don't think it's. I mean, I think obviously it has something to do with him, but I also think he prepares a lot of his coaches in a very professional way.
Right.
Dayball's from his tree, but Dayball's also from Saban. He got the best of both worlds there. Vrabel. I mean, Vrabel played for Bill Belichick in New England, and obviously Vrabel's a very good head coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely a little something to it, but it's not the best tree in the world.
Right.
Definitely not the best tree in the world.
Right.
All right, that's going to do it here. Episode 119 in the books. Listen, we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the NFL season. Look out for the gambling show the week 14?
Yeah.
No,
15.
15? Gambling
15.
show?
Week 15.
Will be out over the weekend. Check out all our social medias, as always, for just, videos, clips from this podcast. We really always appreciate the support. Anything you got to say?
No. Good luck to everybody in the giveaway. And yeah. That's it.
Peace out.